let's get started here. Now, so we're going to get started here doing a live tech show. Today I want to talk about practical AI, foldable phones, CES 2026, and AI agents. We're going to get into all of that stuff here coming up. But first, I do just want to say I got some major FOMO right now. I was going to go to CES 2026. I almost bought tickets and everything last year, but I talked myself out of it because I already went to a YouTube event, so I felt like I was already doing too much, and 2 events in 1 year, or pretty close to each other within 4 months was going to be too much. So I decided not to do it, and turns out would have been perfect. I'd have been able to go just fine. Oh, so anyways, I'm feeling some major FOMO right now, missing out. So I will be scrolling through YouTube and blogs and stuff and trying to see if there's some cool news coming out about CES that kicks off today. So lots of cool stuff that I am going to be missing out on, but I'll be okay, and hopefully I will get there next year. So what's up, everybody? How are you guys doing? I am interested to hear some of your thoughts, so if you want to, feel free to join the conversation here. Drop some comments in the chat, and I'd love to hear kind of how you're using AI. That's going to be a big topic a lot moving forward. AI is in everything, and I really am finding it a little bit more useful. So I want to know, coming up later, we're going to talk about it. So think about this now. How are you using AI right now? How is it actually helping you? So let's start there. We're going to talk about AI getting practical. We're going to talk about smaller models, real tools, privacy wins. Things are really looking up for AI. We've got foldable iPhone rumors for late 2026. That's going to be what Apple is doing. Are they really innovating anymore, or are they just trying to kind of keep up with what's already going on? Maybe a book style phone that folds, in and out instead of hamburger style. And it's going to be $2,000. Are you going to spend $2,000 on a foldable phone? Spoiler alert, we used to have those. So I know there's a whole generation of people right now that it might be new and novel to, but that's the first phone I had. It was a Nokia, I believe. It wasn't foldable. It was a block phone. It actually wasn't too big, but I remember I could text people with the phone in my pocket. I remember my senior year of high school, I was texting people with my phone in my pocket because I don't know anymore, but you would tap the keys, 1, 2, 3, whatever, however many times to get to the letter you wanted. So I could text people without even looking. So that's a good memory. I just brought that up. So CES 2026 preview, AI everywhere and everything, robots, weird gadgets, and AI agents. Do you know what an AI agent is? I didn't until I started looking this up. Now, it's actually pretty cool, and it's going to be how we start using AI to really help us and integrate everything together. So let's go ahead first and get started with talking about how AI is finally getting practical. So the AI hype is cooling off, and really that is a good thing because it's time to really kind of show up and actually start improving stuff for us and don't talk about it, be about it, right? So 2026 is shaping up to be the year of AI and how it becomes useful and not just flashy. So it's going to get smaller, more efficient models. It's going to run on laptops, phones, and sometimes even offline, which will actually be really helpful because if you're stuck to being connected to the internet, AI isn't always that helpful. Now, companies are shifting from big demos to actual real tools, and some everyday wins, how it's being used right now: email cleanup, meeting summaries, photo and audio enhancements, and in-app assistance. Now, this really matters because it's going to save a lot of people time. It's going to save energy. It's going to save money. It's less intimidating. It's just becoming easier and easier, and it's going to be more privacy friendly. So if you are using AI right now, what kind of tool are you using? You're not just hearing about it, you're actually using it. Drop that into the comments and let me know how you're actually using AI. So, is data analytics a good career? Sorry to kind of go off topic here, but this is a good question, actually. My wife was actually looking into this. I think there are some actual good applications of it, but I don't personally do it. But my wife was actually kind of looking into doing something like that. But this is a good example of how we can use AI right now. So let's see what AI has to say about it. So I'm going to start here, and I'm just going to pop this question, and I'm going to use Copilot today. Is data analytics a good career? And how can you use it? Now, my wife, what was she thinking about doing? It was something similar to that. And it's actually a fascinating industry because there's so many different ways that it can be used. And lots of big companies are kind of moving that way because we're collecting so much data that it might be more about how we analyze and use that data. So here, let's check this out. Let me see if I can share this screen. If I can't, I'm sorry. But let me see if I can display it here. No, it doesn't look like it's going to work here. So that's okay. What I'm just going to tell you here is coming straight from Copilot. So it says, yes, data analytics is one of the strongest, fastest growing career paths today, with demand rising across nearly every industry. Companies are drowning in data, kind of like what I was just saying, and urgently need people who can turn that data into decisions. Job growth is projected to keep climbing, and analysts are needed in fields from business to healthcare to finance. So here's a practical breakdown of why it's a good career and how you could use it in the real world. So why data analytics is a strong career? High demand across industries. Every company is going to have data and needs somebody to analyze it. Strong job outlook. The U.S. job market for data analysts is projected to grow by 23% by the year 2032. So that's much faster than average. Now, AI is not replacing analysts. It's increasing the need for people who can interpret and apply insights. Competitive salaries, it seems like it's going to be a high-skill, specialized position that should warrant a decent salary. Clear pathways. So data analytics can lead to roles like business analyst, data scientist, operations analyst, marketing analyst, financial analyst, business intelligence developer, predictive modeler, and analytics manager. Now, how it is used in the real world, companies use data to answer questions like, what are the best-selling products? Which marketing campaigns are working? Where are we losing money? It's always people. Just fire everybody. That's where you're losing money. Visualization trends. Analysts build dashboards and charts to help teams understand sales trends, customer behavior, and really, I think that's a big one. All of these apps are connected and they are collecting our data all the time. So our behavior is going to be really interesting to see how they analyze it. So you shop here, you bank here, you have an animal. What kind of things do you tend to spend your money on? They're going to be looking at that. Solving problems with data. So a retailer uses analytics to reduce out-of-stock items. So they're going to be able to basically stock the shelves here. Hospitals use analytics to predict patient flow. I think there was like 4th of July, I think, was the #1 day for accidents or hospital visits because of, fireworks and stuff like that. I could be wrong, but I think 4th of July in the United States is up there. And a streaming service uses analytics to recommend content. And I do like that, honestly. I do like being recommended content because there's so much of it now that a lot of it helps just, I want to find stuff that entertains me. And if you can tell that I've watched this, that I might like that, I'm okay with that. So that's another interesting thing. Are you okay with AI and how it tracks you and all of this information that it's collecting from you? I'm okay with a little bit of it, but I'm also weary of it as well. But I do like how it does benefit my life. So yeah, it seems like a good fit or a good career. Now, is it right for you? So data analytics is great if you enjoy solving problems, working with numbers, finding patterns, using tools like Excel, SQL, Python, or BI dashboards. Not sure what that is, and turning complex information into simple explanations. So interesting. Yeah, something definitely to look at. Data analytics looks like it could be used for most companies, and it's going to be kind of an office type job. So that was a good question. Thanks for asking. So hopefully that was helpful. So now we're getting back to, AI finally getting practical. It is helping me personally. Are you using AI? Does it help you at all? I use it as a content creator, so I do use it to create thumbnails and scripts, and I just helped look up data analytics if it would be a good job. I know there's lots of these. I get these emails all the time from these companies, and they're popping up everywhere. There's these digital recorders, and they record your meetings, your conversations. You can do brain mapping or brainstorming on them, information dumping, and then it collects everything, summarizes it for you, and then makes notes and allows you to follow up on certain things. So it's kind of recording everything and then organizing everything in an easy kind of to digest and look back at. And then the last doctor's visit I was at, they actually had one of these as well. So instead of having a assistant come into the room and take notes, they actually just did it with AI. So they did actually tell me like, hey, before we get started here, I do have a digital AI assistant. It's going to be recording everything that we're talking about. Is that okay with you? So I think it was just a courtesy, but they're basically recording it. But then it makes it easier to go back, make notes about the patient, and then you don't have to try to remember everything from the meeting. You can be more present within the meeting. And that's good for me with ADHD because I'll go off on a tangent. And if I actually have something recording me, that's a lot easier. But this is really more business related or doctor related. I haven't really found a practical use for it for myself as a content creator or somebody that is not in kind of a business meeting where you're sitting around doing lots of, meeting stuff and coming up with SOPs and standards of operations and stuff like that. That could be really helpful and save a lot of time there. Now, how I use it, for me personally, it helps me with editing, doing some rough cuts. I know there's some software out there that will help content creators do rough cuts. I know that there's software out there that will take out certain words like ums and ahs and pauses, and I think you can tell it to take out your filler words. So if you're always using a certain phrase or filler word, you can have it take those out. Now, it's not perfect because I listened to some podcasts and things that use this software, and it cuts some stuff that I don't think it should have, and it's a little bit rough and clunky, but overall it is working and it helps people edit a lot faster. You can do noise cleanup, so if you have some audio that's just garbage, you can fix it with that with some AI. Auto highlighting parts like things that they thought were interesting. I've noticed this as a content creator that after this live stream, I will get a AI video clip and it'll say, hey, based on viewership and engagement, this was a highlight of this video and it's all being sensed by AI. Do you want to make a short clip out of this? Auto captions has been really helpful. I've been using that and you see it all over social media, AI doing auto captions. Clearer timing so it can basically put timestamps in there for you. Presets. Then we're doing scripts. So I use it for scripts. For me personally, I used AI to build this PowerPoint presentation that we're looking at today. Brain fart there. Scripts less, so it's going to help me ramble less, which we'll see if we can work on that. And then thumbnails. I do use AI a lot for my thumbnails, and I find it very helpful. I really like how it helps me with thumbnails. It's clunky, it's not the best, and you can tell it's AI, but it really does help paint a picture a lot of times, and it looks a lot better, and I think it's fine. So sometimes I don't always click on it. If there's something that's obviously AI and it's 100% AI from start to finish, I'm not really interested in that content, but a little bit of assistance through AI, I'm all for it. I think if it helps content creators and people just do a better job and get stuff out faster and easier without a bunch of money, access to everybody to do a lot of different things. I'm excited for the day when I can tell AI a prompt that I want to watch a slapstick comedy where, they kidnap a elephant from the zoo or something, and it'll create this movie for me to watch based on a prompt that I give it. So I'm excited for that. All right, so now let's talk about Apple And, Apple's always doing something. And sorry, let's jump into the comments here. So, Sankey, okay. You yourself look like an AI. Can you prove you're a human? I mean, no, I can't prove it, but you'll just have to take my word for it. But I could be AI, right? And I have heard of creators being turned into and already their likenesses taken by AI. So as much content as I make, I could make a clone of myself and definitely do that. But I think by my rambling and just my overall appearance, that should be enough to prove that I'm not AI, but hey. So now Apple, are they really innovating anymore, or are they just trying to kind of keep up with what's already out there? There's rumors that this foldable iPhone is going to be coming out later this year. So are they finally joining the foldable party? And the leaks are apparently getting spicy. So the expected timing is going to be sometime in late 2026. Now, it's going to be a book style, so not a flip phone like hamburger style. And we're hearing a price range of around $2,000. Now, Apple has kind of delayed this because of durability concerns, hinge reliability, and display crease issues. So I honestly don't know if this is really a good thing. I don't know if you know this, but they used to have phones that folded. I don't really see the benefit of a phone that folds other than having a larger screen that you can kind of break down and make smaller. I just don't get the appeal to a foldable phone. Are you on the side of liking it or not liking it? For me personally, I just do not get the point of it. So, if your phone's so big that it has to be folded, I just don't get it. It baffles me, but it is kind of novel, and maybe I'm just missing the mark here, and there is really some kind of usability for it, but I'm just not seeing it. Has anybody got a different take on that? Just not seeing the point for a foldable phone, especially at that price point for $2,000. I could buy a lot of things, and a foldable phone is not really high on the list of things that I want to spend that much money on. I could buy a nice MacBook, a laptop, another gaming computer. How many tablets? I could buy 10 tablets, depending on the price of the tablet, but I got my Samsung Galaxy Tab A9 Plus for about $120. I could buy 10 tablets for the price of that. So I just do not get the appeal. So, but maybe I'm missing it. So if you like it and you think there's something I'm missing, let me know. And I'm not hating on people that want it. If you want a foldable phone, go for it. What could they do differently? So better software, optimization for folded or unfolded modes, seamless app transition, stronger materials, real world impact. Are they going to stay a premium niche? Is it basically just to say, hey, I've got $2,000. You know that because I've got the foldable phone and you know how much they cost. And a lot of times it could be that. And that's why different brands exist that have basically the same clothing, but one of them has a brand from this company and the other has a brand from this company, and there's a massive difference in price. Brands do actually have a big impact on people and their perception of things and value. So, but I'm not in. I'm out on the foldable phone unless there is something super, cool about it or novel that I'm just not seeing right now, and we'll have to just wait until it comes out. I think it's just a money grab, and they have always got to come out with some kind of new technology, so you have to just keep upgrading to the next thing, right? If you don't innovate and create and come out with new stuff, you kind of fall off as a business, right? So you've always got to be bringing in the next customer. Big themes. So 2026, again, I'm super bummed that I'm not out there right now for this event. So what's happening today, it's going through the 9th in Las Vegas. There's tons of different ways to go. As a content creator, I could get some passes to go. I don't know if the general public is allowed. You might have to be some kind of creator in some sort of fashion, but easier to get in than a lot of events as far as the requirements that you need for viewers or followers or things like that, if I remember correctly. I did qualify to go. I just didn't end up going. So we're going to see AI in everything. So I'll be searching and seeing what's coming out from CES. Hopefully a lot of creators will be making some videos and stuff that we can check out. And of course, companies, I'm sure, will be publishing things that we can look at and kind of releasing everything. They've been teasing a lot of stuff, and it's a lot of AI because that's really kind of heavy right now. AI's in everything. Robots for home and work. Now, LG did tease a new home robot that was going to help with some household chores and some other things. So they came out with a robot either last year or the year before that was great for industry, restaurants, and things like that. It was a robot with trays that basically can roll around and, serve people at restaurants, things like that. Now, this robot is going to be for home use. It's teased that it has 2 arms that move in 7 different directions, and it has 5 fingers on each hand that move like human fingers, and advertises that it can do some household chores. So depending on what it looks like, that might be kind of cool, but I'm sure it's going to be pretty limited in the chores that it can do. And then, of course, for me, size is always going to be a consideration, because is this thing going to be big and clunky, and will it fit in most people's homes, or do you have to basically have a big old McMansion in order to use this thing because it's going to take up so much space? But I think robots that can do some household things are going to be great for people with disabilities or issues, back problems, any kind of disability or just aging, things like that. I'm sure by the time I'm old, if I make it to that age, fingers crossed, if I make it to the part where I am not able to function basically on my own anymore, hopefully those robots will be advanced enough to help me out. The trifold phones, so we're going to see some of those, and then transparent and rollable TVs. Now, aside from the novelty, I think these will kind of be cool to have a nice transparent TV up on the wall. Rollable TVs, or foldable maybe even. We'll see. I like my TVs how they are, and TVs are getting cheaper and cheaper right now. So especially the QLED, they're really cheap TVs right now. I got a couple of them this year for a couple $100. Now, do they solve real problems? Is this actually going to help, or is it going to be something that people can buy, or is it just going to be kind of novel just to get some attention from companies right now? So expected announcements, we're going to get next-gen smart home hubs. We're going to talk about some smart home hubs here in a little bit. Wearable health sensors, which could be a blessing or a curse depending on how those go. Maybe we'll have these wearable sensors that if you don't stay up with your steps, you lose your health insurance or something. Wouldn't that be crazy? And then ultra thin laptops. I always have a problem with them heating up, but that'd be kind of cool to really thin laptops. So hopefully we'll see some weird and fun stuff. We'll see some robot pets. Maybe you want a companion, and we can do that in a robot form. Smart toilets and AI kitchen gadgets. So we'll stay tuned, plugged into CES, and see if we can see what's coming out, if there's any cool stuff. So here we're going to move on to AI agents. Let me pop in the chat here and see if we got any other questions or comments here. We're looking pretty good here. So now AI agents. So these are kind of the next step in smart homes and kind of bringing everything together. So these are tools that take action and not just answer questions. Think of it like this: do this for me, not just tell me how to do it. I'm waiting for the next step for AI to be more integrated with your actual workflow and what you're doing. That's kind of the cool thing about Copilot. I will be testing that, but it advertises that it works with Word, Microsoft, Excel, and the Microsoft products. So it makes you it gives you the ability to actually work in the app and get AI help, as opposed from going to AI, asking your question, then going back to your app, fumbling around with it. There's a big disconnect there for me. We've all tried to do some things, and it just does not translate word or transfer, one place to the other. So real examples here, we could do email triage, scheduling, editing workflows, research, and summarizing. So 2026 feels a little bit like a breakout because I feel like we're getting better reliability, more integrations, and then more guardrails. So here's a good question. what task would you hand off to an AI agent first? So for me, I think scheduling and planning would be one of the first. I would allow it access to a calendar, I think. That would be a good low risk place to start, and then maybe some smart home features. Speaking of those, let's kind of jump in and talk about the hub here. So I do want to break that down in a little bit more detail here. So give me a second here while I pull up my notes on this, and hopefully it can explain this a little bit better, what a smart home hub is. So you can think of a smart home hub like a manager of your house. So instead of every gadget, your lights, your locks, your sensors, your garage door, your thermostat, trying to talk to your phone separately, often through the internet, the hub helps them work together and actually behave like one system. So a smart home hub in 2026 hopefully will come together and make these different products talk to each other better. So the hub is the translator, and it helps different brands that speak different languages, right? They're all developed by different engineers and stuff, and they all speak kind of different languages. And the hub helps them understand and integrate with each other. So you can say things to a smart speaker that was made by company A, and it'll turn off the lights or do something to a thermostat that was made by company B, helping integrate them better. It acts as a traffic controller. So you've got kind of your main Wi-Fi coming in and out of the house, and this hub creates a secondary path for all of that stuff to come through so it doesn't get bogged down or stuck or delayed. So a lot of these smart home devices, I've tried to use them. They just seem clunky. They don't work super fast. There's a lag, and I'm just better off kind of doing it myself. So the hub controller should help. So you can think of it like a brain here, and it can do some things based on what it is perceiving or what it's taking in. So if the sun goes down, it can turn on the lights. If you unlock the door, it'll turn on the hallway lights. If you turn on an appliance, another appliance will get ready, right? So it can help you kind of just live easier life, a little bit less to help you do more stuff, basically. So that's kind of the hub, and these things should be coming out here to help things integrate a lot better. Basically, the one-sentence summary of a hub is it makes things that make your smart home feel less dumb. So it's the thing that makes your smart home feel less dumb, because we've all bought these smart home devices and they just do not work. So that's it for today. I'm going to stick around just for a few more minutes. If you do have any comments about AI, I do want to know how you're using AI, if it really helps you, if it doesn't help you. So personally, I use AI in my workflow as a content creator. I create thumbnails with it. I create scripts with it. On a personal note, use it a lot for cooking and recipes. So what I've done is taken some, this might be cheating in a way, but I take the screenshots of some foods, and then I ask AI to tell me how to make this at home. So it's been able to help me recreate some foods at home for a lot cheaper. So I really do like that. I can take screenshots of things and say, hey, how do I make this recipe? Or say, hey, this is 2 chicken breasts, a side of broccoli, some rice. How many calories does this have in it? So it's got some use cases there to help me kind of track my calories. Not that I'm doing a great job on that, but I have used it for that. I used it to help plan a vacation, see how good of a job it could do with that. I use it to help within that planning a vacation, find hotels and things nearby airports. What else do I use it for? Oh, I've also noticed that when I use search engines now, they actually have more of an AI description and less of like a first Google search page, right? So I wonder how that's hurting businesses on the back end. However, as a user, I find it a lot more user-friendly because I can follow up with other questions. So if I ask it something, I can follow up with a related question, and I can go further into my rabbit hole without doing all these new searches. So looks like the chat is pretty quiet now, but that is it for today. Hopefully that was helpful. Coming up, I'm going to be talking about Apple AirPods and breaking those down with some other tech stuff, and then following up with any new stuff coming out from CES 2026. Big bummer I'm not there. If you're there, hit me up, let me know what's going on, and tell me everything good that I'm missing. So again, my name is Drew. I hope that was helpful.